Somebody's going to need a med bed.
Warning. This video may contain graphic language, graphic violence, gross cartoon penises, and a whole lot of Pimpy the pimp-ass pimp showing motherfuckers what's up. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, I was going to wait in talking about med beds. There's like a wave of you sending me a couple of videos that are the same ones. So, of course, I want to go ahead and address them. I think there's some confusion out there about what it is you're looking at. It's either that or people are saying that these are med beds when they're not med beds. So let's go over this so I can show you something, the difference between some things, okay? Before we get started, if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, or any other precious metals for that matter, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. When you purchase over there at Money Metals Exchange, you will now be automatically entered into a chance to get free giveaways. This month, you'll be automatically registered to be one of 3 people who will receive 10 ounces. That's 10 silver eagles each. So head on over to Money Metals, make your purchase, and automatically enter to win. For those of you who are unaware, I do have my own webpage. I can be found at Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I do post videos that I can't post on YouTube without getting in trouble. I also have my own Facebook group called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. So come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. I can also be found over here on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, Odyssey, and now I'm on Rumble. For whatever reasons, my videos are not showing up on my channel yet, but I can be found just by going to the search button and typing in Pimpy's Investment Chat. And my videos will pop up for you to check out. If I get kicked off YouTube or I get suspended on YouTube, you can find me on any other one of these social media platforms. So there has been some new videos posted on Pimpy's News Network for those of you who have already joined. Also, again, I want to remind you guys, the link down below takes you over to Money Metals. Right now, if you follow the link and you go over and make a purchase at Money Metals, you're automatically entered in to win 10 free Silver Eagles. So I want to encourage you guys to go on over there and do that. 3 people will be chosen, and you will each get 10 free ounces of silver. In case you're falling asleep on what's going on, you should see the value of gold and silver jumping up big time. All right, med beds, let's get into this. So med beds, this reminds me a lot about the QFS system. There is all this talk out there about this or that, but there really hasn't been any proof that med beds exist. Now, I've seen all the videos with Charlie and all of them talking about you can't get access to the med bed unless you're on this 5th dimension and all this other crap. Just, stop. You don't need to tell me that. It's just crap. There are people sending me over videos to look at, like the one I'm about to show you. Let's take a look at it because it's interesting.
Hi, this is Coy from Device Lab. We're an IDH partner with Renaissance located in Tustin, California. What we have here today is a setup to showcase our design capability, both from the industrial, the mechanical, the electronics, and the firmware software using the Renaissance technology. Particularly today we're showcasing Synergy. This is a futuristic concept medical bed.
So, you heard what he said right there off the get-go. This is a futuristic medical concept. Concept means it's not real. This means they just put it together and said, this is how they envision a med bed to look like. So it's not even real. So the actual med bed part of it is not real. It's a concept.
Incorporating many elements. We have an example of a patient on the bed with some automation that can go through and do some diagnosis. With that, we have a variety of wireless sensor in the health space that uses wireless EKG, where we can collect data and stream it to a smart device like Android or iOS. Along with that, we have a custom application, which is this product from Becker Smith. Becker Smith Flow Save is in the spinal fluid drain device market. The spinal fluid drain device.
Okay, this guy is supposed to be explaining to the world about their concept medical device. The thing about when you bring concept items over to big shows, if you catch the attention of potential investors or potential designers or engineers, if they see this and you sell them on it, then the next step is to start making a prototype, start seeing how realistic it is to make this. Starts out with the concept and you just kind of take your way from there. But this guy is terrible, man. He cannot explain this med bed at all. Listen to how he's talking.
Covers patients who have some brain trauma, in which if there is a drain required to relieve pressure in the head, that's what this device does with an IV connection. So with that, under the hood, it encompasses many of the Renaissance technology, beginning with the RZ, which is a higher power processor, a release product. We're working here with a beta product from the S7 family. The S7 family is what's showcased with Synergy in its pre-release platform, ranging from an S7.
Wow, that's interesting. Did you hear what he said? It is on the pre-release platform,
which is running an HMI with Bluetooth connectivity to an Android platform. And with that, we are capturing ECG wirelessly. We're streaming it live over the Android platform. We also have S3 for the I/O, where there's not an LCD panel, but the electronics that makes the robotics and the inner working of the futuristic bed. And here we show more example of the HMI element, the circuit board behind it. Underneath, we have a number of circuit boards under the bed that is maybe a little bit harder to see, but this bed is composed of probably 10 different Renaissance chips creating this demo today.
So other than the fact that he's just struggling with it, often people create what's called a concept design. If it catches the attention of somebody, they share the ideas of what it is they're looking for. Engineers get involved, designers get involved, and they actually do what they can to make a real version of it. Now, having said that, this is not a med bed. This is a type of machine that will diagnose you. This doesn't heal you. This doesn't fix you. This is what you guys send me most of the time. Types of designs that you call med beds. They're not med beds. They're machines that will diagnose what's wrong with you. So far, most of them that you're sending me are diagnostics machines, okay? And that's what this is here. So let's get into this next video here because they do something I think is interesting that most people do. Let's listen in.
All right, everyone. Kind of an exciting night. It's a lot of preparation. We've been on a journey and everybody's been joining in, seeing each week how things unfold, the different components and pieces to this amazing puzzle. And tonight we're going to talk about the MedBed experience itself, because a lot of what we've been doing in preparation is to get ourselves into that state of grace, that state of being, so that our soul is in alignment for that level of healing. The quantum field is a vast energy field that has absolutely everything to do with everything. So when you put your heart and soul and your systems into the hands of the quantum field, you have to know that the creator of all that is holy and divine is definitely in charge of helping you, supporting you, healing you, realigning you. We know that those who have woken up first are definitely destined to be guides and angels on earth. You're going to be helping a lot of people, not just yourself. And we look forward to seeing how that all unfolds so that we're no longer in a place where, misery is the name of the day. We're entering into the quantum field of mastery.
Okay, here you go. You got another person talking about quantum, because that's one of those supercharged words, those talking point words, talking about elevating you spiritually. I think it's interesting that they're saying that they need to be lined up spiritually to receive whatever it is they're going to receive.
Is the name of the day. So whatever you as a person and a soul are prepared to master in the way of clearing, healing, shifting, changing, opening, releasing, it's all balance. It's all part of what will bring you into a state of grace and being that you can absolutely be the best that you can be. And I know we've different times thought of, I wish I knew when I was younger what I know now. Well, guess what? That's about to become a reality. And I think that's pretty extraordinary that we have the opportunity as human beings to bring our divinity into the moment of when humanity as a whole is being gifted with a full awake and aware state of being. It's not going to happen for everybody, first off. And in the beginning, it's basically those who have committed themselves to doing the work, to opening their hearts to a better world, knowing somehow at soul level and within your heart that you've been called to this work. And for those who have shown up on the first line of service, we'll call it, that you really are a special soul in so many levels, in so many ways. You've already agreed to this part of your journey. So, the idea of just showing up seems pretty simple, but there are many things that we still have to consider and work with as far as being vibrationally in alignment for the medbed experience.
So here's another lady offering lessons to help you get your spirit in line with what God wants before you can use your medbed. So what I noticed she's doing is she's taking some of the Reiki Ascension lessons and mixing it up with this whole medbed thing. But let's continue.
So let's just take a moment and we're going to do a prayer of unity, bring our hearts and souls and energies together, create a vision of where we want to go tonight as a group, what we want to discuss, what we want to share, and perhaps even vibrationally activate, because a lot of the work that we're doing right now is being activated at a very high level with a very deep grounding, which is going to be required to keep us in that sweet state of grace that allows us to do the work.
When you take a look at the older writings about Jesus, about some of the things he said, you quickly figure out that a lot of things that Jesus was teaching was lined up with what Buddha was teaching. He spoke a lot about Kundalini yoga, activating your chakras, but you have to know what you're looking for when you're reading any kind of passage in the Bible. The Bible's just not going to come out and tell you the truth, and it has nothing to do with hiding the truth from the dark cats or anything like that. You got to understand about where the origins of your Bible came from, and I don't want to get into that. So part of what she's talking about is Reiki training, Kundalini training, where people are talking about spiritually enlightening themselves, trying to activate your chakras. So she's talking about helping people get aligned spiritually so they can work the med beds. Because there's a lot of rumors out there that the med beds don't work unless you're lined up spiritually. You have to be in line with God because God's going to help you get to a point where you can use your med bed. Now think about that. Let's keep going. Now in this particular case, I pointed this out before. There are people out there saying they talk to God. I usually don't comment on it because it's not my place. Until I hear what they have to say, then it's kind of hard not to. I bring this up because everybody's jumping up and down talking about how they're speaking to God, and God is trying to tell them stuff they need to share with us to help us prepare ourselves for the medbed. Let's listen.
In 3 days, something's about to happen. You said something about the 12th of March.
Well, we're going to leave that for the end. But,
Okay.
But what I'm basically saying is the Lord pointed out 12 midnight. And you probably want to go back and look at that one. I don't have it up on my screen right now, but if anybody knows anything about gematria, it's just spiritual geometry. And it's how God can lead you into information that is hidden in the Word.
So through this special holy math, God is going to lead you to where there's hidden messages.
That's been the whole process since I began back in April of 2003 or 2021. It's just leaning in and getting that revelation, that word, and it's living, it's alive. And here we are, and he says 12 midnight. Well, what's been one of the greatest things that has been posted? When the clock strikes 12. Okay. Well, we can look at it as a clock, but we can also look at it potentially as a date.
This guy's claiming that God gave him a message, and he doesn't know if it's a clock God is talking about or is it a date. And in there I say, look, it's hard for me not to say something about this guy, but I did. God is not going to give you any kind of message or lesson that you can't figure out. There's no confusion. There's no hidden riddles or puzzles. God will make sure that you absolutely know the lesson and know the answer. Sometimes you don't get the answer right away. It's not because you have to figure something out. It's because it's not your time to learn what that lesson is yet. So let me go ahead and share this part of this that I want to share with you. Here we go. Okay, usually I don't share personal stories about my relationship with God and Jesus, nor my spirituality, just because it's my own personal business. I'm always hesitant to do so, but I'm going to share something with you that is personal. I remember a while back having a conversation with Jesus and talking about stories that are in the Bible that I heard about. And I was really curious about how many of these stories were accurate. And Jesus said, well, let me know which one you're questioning, and we'll go over it. I said, okay. So I was talking to him about the man by the pool. It's in the Bible. It talks about a man who was by this pool, and Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem and walked by this pool. Now, the story is that people, no matter what kind of sickness you have, whether you can't walk, whether you're blind, whatever sickness you had, there was this pool. And these angels would come down twice a day and make the water move in the pool. And for all the people who were in the pool, you would be healed of whatever kind of sickness you had. So when Jesus was walking by the pool, there was a man there asking for Jesus' help to get to this pool because it was almost time for the angels to come down and he wanted to be healed. Because it says that this man was sitting by the pool for like 38 years. And this is what he told Jesus. He said every time he tried to work his way to the pool, people would jump in front of him and he couldn't get past the crowd to get into the pool so that he can get healed. He wanted Jesus to help him to the water so that he could be in the pool for when the angels came. My impression about this story was he had no idea who Jesus was, and that's why he's asking Jesus to help him get into the pool. Anyways, the story continues by saying that Jesus just told him that he would be there to heal him and just to stand up and walk. Just get up and go. And the man got up, he was grateful, and he walked away. Something along those lines is how the story went. Jesus said, well, it wasn't a pool, it was a pond. I go, a pond? He goes, it was a big pond. So it wasn't a pool, it was a pond. I said, okay. And he goes, the angels didn't come down twice a day. They would come down something like once every 3 months. And all people touching the water, no matter how you were touching it, as long as you were touching the water, can get healed. So God had sent these angels down. Those who were touching the water would be healed. He said, yes, that's what these people believed. Now, when he said that, it caught my attention. I said, what do you mean that's what these people believed? Was it not true? Here's where things get a little interesting. Yes, there was a man there who had crawled a very long way to get there. He said this man had blisters on his knees, his hands, from the sun. I mean, it was terrible. This guy was really sick. He's making his best effort to get to this pond. So when Jesus came by him and he asked him to put him in the pond, and Jesus asked him, why do you want to go to the pond? And he told him the story about these angels coming down. Of course, Jesus knew about this. Jesus said, he asked him, man, so you believe that God is going to heal you if you touch the water? He says, yes. He believes that God will heal you if you're touching the water, that God would send these angels down, and once the angels were above the water, they would just work their little miracle, and everybody that was touching this water, God would heal them. Jesus said, what I told the man was, if you believe that God is going to heal you, you didn't need to be by the pond. You didn't need to have to touch the water. If you have that much faith that God is going to heal you, then just get up and go. You don't have to be by a pond. You could be anywhere. If you believe that God is real and that God could heal you, then you don't need to touch the water. Just get up and go. The sickness isn't real. And the man got up, thanked Jesus, and walked away. And then I just simply said, well, that's not fair. You're Jesus. Of course, you can heal anybody. He goes, no, not true. Which, again, is another mind-blowing comment. I said, what do you mean? He says, you got to remember, there were people that I couldn't heal. Now, I want you to think about this. There were people out there that Jesus could not heal because there's this impression that Jesus walked around. He could do whatever he wants because he's the Son of God. I'm the Son of God, walk on water. I could touch you, presto, raise you from the dead. It's not that simple. Because even in the Bible, it talks about a place that Jesus had the hardest time healing people. He could only heal very few people there. So no, he couldn't just heal everybody. So that's not accurate. And even Jesus acknowledged this because there's a key ingredient missing out of all of this. And that's what Jesus was talking to the man that was by the pond, talking to him about, which is if you have faith and you believe that God is going to heal you, then you're going to be healed. Since Jesus grew up in this town, people just knew him as Jesus, the kid that ran around. So they didn't believe he had anything to do with God. They didn't have a lot of faith in him. Those who did were able to get healed. Those who lacked the faith could not get healed. So you see, there's always this misunderstanding about the abilities of Jesus. I was talking about this guy called John of God who was in Honduras. Supposedly people are going to see him because he can heal people. It's been documented. Film crews have been there. They watched this man cure people of blindness, hearing issues, cancer, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, but there were some people he couldn't cure the same way like Jesus. And I said, so some people can get cured, some people couldn't. It's not about the man. It's not about John the God, because what we find later on, that this man had done some real nefarious things. He had done some stuff with some underage girls, and he's done the R word with like 500 or 600 women. So when you hear that, you're like, what the heck? How is this man healing people? How could this be a man of God if he turns around and commits these types of acts? And Jesus said, because people were putting their hope in the wrong place. Those who put it in the right place got healed. And what that means is this. The other people would just be instruments. Even Jesus said he was an instrument of God. So if you believe that God, through these individuals, is going to heal you, you're going to be healed. Because mentally you've convinced yourself that God is going to do the work. And that's why these people, even with somebody as terrible as John of God in Honduras and all those crazy acts he did against women and children, even he was able to heal people. Because the people, when they went to get healed by him, their faith wasn't so much in him. They believed God would heal them. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the point that Jesus was making to this man. Why do you have to be touching the water? If you believe that God can heal you, then just stand up and walk away. And that's what I'm trying to say to you out there. I get it. All these people out there believe that these med beds are coming, that these aliens are going to bring you this technology, that some of them exist. You guys have pointed out med beds to me. And here's what I can tell you. These aren't med beds. They call them med beds, but they're not actual med beds. Most of the things that people believe are med beds are actually new technology that will diagnose what's wrong with you. They don't actually cure you of whatever your sickness is. There's no machine out there that will cure you of everything. And I know there's some of you out there, you don't like to hear this. Sorry, but it's the truth. There is not a med bed that cures you of everything, not yet. That doesn't mean it won't happen later on. But the truth of the matter is, you don't need the med bed. You're putting your hope and faith in the wrong damn area. You got all these people out there talking about, well, we're going to get you in connection with God. Spiritually, you got to be at this next dimension. You know, this won't happen. Yeah, whatever. They want to preach about God helping you get to a med bed. That's how you know they're full of shit. That's why I have a hard time with these people out there saying, oh, I talk to God. And yeah, well, if you're talking to God and then you're saying that God gave you a vague message, then I know you're not. Because God's messages are very clear. And if you guys are sitting around putting all your hope and faith in a freaking med bed, then you're channeling your energy in the wrong area. And if these people are out there preaching about God and all the great things that God does, and still tells you, wait till the med beds come out because you're going to get fixed, then those people are full of shit. Channel your beliefs where they should go. So the reason why so many people believe in these med bed things, what they're really looking for is hope. They're tired of feeling sick. They're tired of feeling useless. They're tired of feeling handicapped. Mentally, they are drained. I understand that. But there's this saying that people keep going through things in their life because they never learned the lesson they're supposed to learn. So if you have this ongoing sickness that you're dealing with, it's because you're not learning the lesson you're supposed to learn. Stop putting your faith and hope in the med beds and aliens and everything else. If you're sitting around saying, well, I believe God's going to use these med beds to help you, I'm going to tell you the same thing that Jesus told that man. If you have that much faith and belief in God, then why the heck are you waiting for a med bed? You don't need a med bed. Just understand that you're already healed. So in your mind, you can't sit around picturing you still being sick day after day. That's why people pray, they pray wrong. I'll get into that another time. If you believe that God is going to heal you, then see yourself healthy and that's it. Don't think about being sick. Don't see yourself being disabled. Don't think about being blind. Just know that God will heal you and see you being healed. and everything will change. That's why when I watch these videos, I hear people talking about, oh, I talk to God and all this and everything else. You know, I bite my tongue. It's not my place to talk about whether they do or not. But some of the things they say, you can just absolutely tell that they don't. For those of you who do, you know what I'm talking about. There's no confusion. There's no riddles that you get from God nor Jesus. You'll get the answer. And the answer will be clear. Sometimes you won't get it right away. But eventually when you do, you'll see how clear the answer is. So for those of you waiting for med beds, your med bed is already within you. Just activate it. Here's another example of what I'm talking about. The Tesla Med Bed Center.
Inside and out, this building along Route 8 in Butler looks like a hotel. That's because it always has been. Previously it was a Holiday Inn, then a Days Inn. Now it's called the Tesla BioHealing and MedBed Center. And if you're wondering about the name Tesla, no, this operation is not connected at all with the electric car company owned by Elon Musk. For a few $100s a night, guests can sleep in medbed rooms above Tesla BioHealing generators. They're spread all throughout the facility. 23 devices sit in the pool.
They energize the water. You can walk down, sit right on the generators.
Life force energy is the body's ability of innate intelligence to make changes or repair itself.
He says the company's canisters use Tesla BioHealing's proprietary technology. To buy their products can range in cost from several hundred up to tens of thousands of dollars. Tesla's website talks up biophoton or life force energy. One example reads it benefits people debilitated by everything from dementia to stroke paralysis, even terminal cancers. Loads of written online customer testimonials echo that. So did two clients we spoke with in Butler.
I mean, this does help. No matter what's wrong with you, hey, I'll try anything.
But that's just it. You see what she's saying? She's in a place where she's desperate. She's looking for hope. She's open to Tesla medbeds, and she expects to be healed there. So you're going to have some individuals who go to something like Tesla medbeds, and as they are being presented with what they believe is going to be the miracle to help them get better, in their minds they're saying, God has sent me here. I'm going onto this medbed. God is going to heal me on this medbed. Those are the ones that get healed. They believe God is going to heal them and that the medbed is the tool. So can you go get healed by Tesla medbeds? It really just depends on the amount of faith you have. If you're 100% full-heartedly convinced that God will heal you, it's going to work. And it's not so much by the Tesla bed as much as it is by their faith and belief in God.
I don't have the pain. I'm breathing better. I sleep better.
But also on the website, there's this disclaimer. Quote, Tesla BioHealing does not provide any medical advice. Our products, FDA-registered Tesla BioHealing OTC medical devices and services are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. Please consult your own healthcare provider if you have any medical issues. So how do they balance all that?
It's quite simple. Basically, again, we're not doing anything. It's your own body that's doing it. See, the best physician's the one that's inside of your body.
And I agree for the most part. The truth of the matter is, do people have the ability to heal? Yes, it's in you naturally. It really is. But how do people tap into it? It really just depends on your relationship that you have with God. My entire life, whenever I got sick, which is not that often, I've had the ability to heal myself. Now, there are times where I'm really sick and I can't focus on what I need to do to heal, and I end up just being sick. Most all the time, including the surgery and including one time that I actually died and came back to life, I was able to heal myself. That's another thing that I don't feel like talking about right now. I'm just saying it's possible. Your mental state, your spiritual relationship that you have with God really makes a huge difference in your ability to heal. This article goes on and talks about the same thing, the med beds, because you guys are always sending me the Tesla med beds, and I have done videos on them. There is something about those. I don't know so much that you would use them to totally heal yourself. It really just depends on where you are mentally and spiritually. That if you're in the right settings, certain tones, certain vibrations out there will definitely make you feel like you're getting charged up. I remember going to Fresno and seeing Dr. Diana Montiel. Look, she had these vibrational bowls. I don't know how to explain it, but I went through there and I was listening to all the different vibrations, trying to feel the energy. But man, as soon as she struck one of those bowls, I don't know how to explain it. My whole body started feeling electrified. It was feeling charged. It made me feel really good. So there is some truth to getting at a certain frequency that will assist you on your healing abilities. It's really not just somebody waving a wand over you or saying that this medical device is going to help you. It's really just your mental state of being, as well as your spiritual relations with God is a big part of it. Now, because there's so many people out there that's lying to you, then you got people doing this, which is a total turnoff to anybody who wants to learn more about a truther movement. All right, so let's listen to this individual talk about med beds.
This is a QAnon belief that you should all know about. An increasingly popular conspiracy theory falsely centers around the existence of med beds, which is a fabled medical instrument that does everything from reversing aging to regrowing missing limbs. The theory has grown in popularity among followers of the far-right movements like QAnon, some of whom claim to be urgently awaiting a med bed to treat severe health conditions.
Before I continue, there was a person who recently passed away. They had an opportunity to get medical treatment, but what did they say? No, they were waiting for med beds, and that person passed away.
So who sells these beds that QAnon loves so much? So Tesla BioHealing is one of the multiple companies selling what they describe as these med beds, sometimes for tens of thousands of dollars. The company credits its technology to a doctor who has previously been accused by the Federal Trade Commission of misleading advertisements for asthma treatments, and whose previous company board issued a resolution accusing him of sabotage, forgery, and sending company money to an online girlfriend. One of those prophecies promises a near future in which big pharmaceutical companies are obsolete. Then, of course, there's the more obvious appeal of having a magical machine, versions of which can diagnose you instantly or heal you instantly. Some can grow back missing body parts instantly, so obviously there's a lot of hope that serves a very appealing narrative for those who believe this. And also they believe that John F. Kennedy's still alive, and they attribute this to the curative powers of this med bed, David.
The med beds, as I had said to you guys, is being guarded by the military and the divine beings. And they will be released when it is safe for everyone to have access to it. Because if we released it prematurely, although we would like as many people to get healed now, if it is released prematurely and the wrong side gets a hold of it again, like they did many, many decades ago, then we will be back to square one. And you will have pharmaceutical industries thriving instead of we the people being healthy.
The military is watching over these med beds along with some alien beings, and we're still waiting for the med beds. We're talking about years now. I've been hearing about these med beds. Any day we're going to be on the med beds. Any day we're going to be in the QFS system. As much as I say, look, stay grounded. Do these things exist? Anything is possible. But wait until we actually see them firsthand, that they actually and legitimately work, if that's what you're waiting for. But for those of you who are really sick, you don't need a damn med bed, man. Just turn to God. Tell God what it is you're looking for. Mean it with all your heart, and just trust that God will take care of it, and you won't have to deal with it anymore. It's truly that simple. I just can't stand the fact that there's people out there taking advantage of other people, getting their hopes up, and then they're turning down actual medical treatment that could help them, waiting for these med beds, then they pass away. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. I hope this helps, and I will catch you later. I'm out.